Would you please open your book to page 778?
You're so nice.
We are going to do Notes, section 24.5. Connecting to your world. Maybe people have told you that you have your mother's eyes or your father's nose. Although this is not literally the true, your eyes and nose are your own. You do inherit the instructions for assembling the proteins of your body from your parents. In this section, you will learn what these instructions are called and how they code for proteins. Key concepts. What are the functions of DNA and RNA? How long a base sequence of DNA is required to specify one amino acid and peptide chain? What are gene mutations? What forms of the basis of a method of identifying a person's from biological samples? What is recombinant DNA technology?
DNA and RNA. DNA stores the information needed to make proteins and governs the reproduction of growth of cells needed in new organisms. RNA has a key role in the transmission of the information stored in DNA and in the synthesis of proteins. Flip the page. The genetic code. 3 bases of DNA arranged in a specific sequence are required to specify one amino acid in a peptide or a protein chain. Gene mutations. Substitutions, additions, or deletions of one or more nucleotides in the DNA molecule are called gene mutations. DNA fingerprinting. The variation in the DNA of individuals forms the basis for a method of identifying a person from samples of his or her hair, skin cells, or body fluid. Recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant DNA technology consists of methods for cleaving a DNA chain, inserting a new piece of DNA into the gap created by the cleavage, and resealing the chain.
Applications in medicine. Applications in agriculture. Cloning. Pics.
And now we're doing Pics.
Figure 24.14. This photo shows strands of DNA extracted from cellular material.
Figure 24.15. The nucleotide monomers of DNA are linked together through their phosphate groups.
Figure 24.16. The 2 DNA strands in the double helix are held together by many hydrogen bonds. There are 2 hydrogen bonds between each thymine and adenine, and 3 hydrogen bonds between each cytosine and guanine.
Figure 24.17. This space-filling model shows only a tiny segment of DNA molecule and gives you an idea of the enormous mass of the entire molecule.
Figure 24.18. The abbreviated molecular structure of hemoglobin, the oxygen transporting protein of blood, is shown here. The hemoglobin molecule consists of 4 peptide chains, each containing a hemogroup. In the genetic disorder sickle anemia, defective hemoglobin causes red blood cells to take on a disordered shape. Normal red blood cells have a donut-like shape.
Figure 24.19. This scientist is comparing DNA fingerprints. DNA fingerprinting is an important tool in the identification of people. A person's DNA fingerprint contains DNA fragments that are characteristics of his or her father and mother, but that would not be identical to those of the father or mother.
Figure 24.20. Included here are the elements of an experiment involving recombinant DNA. In this experiment, DNA from one organism is inserted into the DNA of a different organism.
Figure 24.21. These genetically engineered tomatoes were altered to increase the length of time it takes to ripen them.
24.22. Dolly, the sheep, had no father. She was cloned from a single cell taken from her mother. Dolly died in February 2003.
So, pull out a piece of paper and MLA it.
Yeah, you can do that. All right, and would you please copy down figure 24.20? copy that down, and while you copy that down, we'll read you through all of the questions that we have for the test. So we have question number 10. Which of the following statements is true about the function of the DNA in the body? And the answer is D. DNA stores the information needed to make protein. And we have number 11. A typical nucleotide is composed of D, base plus phosphate plus sugar. Number 12. A nucleotide contains which of the following functional groups? A. Phosphate. Base pairing in DNA involves C. Hydrogen bonds. Why do A and T and G and C pair in a DNA double helix? A. Hydrogen bonds form between them. Number 15. How many termination code words are there? A. 3. 16. The technique of identifying a person from a sample of hair, skin cells, or body fluid is called C. DNA fingerprinting. Number 17. Approximately what percentage of a human's DNA is used for coding information for the synthesis of proteins? A. 5%. Okay, now, section 24.5, RQ 1 and 2, page
785.
Yeah.
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 Alright. Number 1 says capital D.
Make them read it.
What? Oh, you gotta read the question.
What functions are
It's on all of them, isn't it?
DNA and RNA?
Number 1, capital D. Is it
Isn't
recording?
that my job?
DNA stores the information needed. It's not. Period. I'm waiting for her. Capital R. RNA transmits the information. Stored in DNA. Period. Stop. You need to stop. Number 2 says.
What does a 3-letter base sequence of DNA specify?
Okay, capital T. 3 bases of DNA arranged in a specific sequence are required to specify one amino acid. In peptide or protein chain. Period.
Pass them to the left.
Yep.
Or protein chain.
What do you guys, Andrew?
I'm the architect.
Having trouble. Angel.
Those two are having trouble. They were messing us up this whole time.
And so he's not so tempted to.
Tyler was making